You know what's really interesting and funny is at one time, certain tones or reactivities would get under my skin, and I would tell a bazillion discrimination stories around it, which, that fairly well could be true. But one of the things I realized about arrogance or snootiness is that 9 times out of 10, it's a defense mechanism. Somewhere along the lines, that person was either told they were not enough, too much. What's another one? And I guess these days people are having to endure quite a lot when it comes to, psychological I want to say warfare, but I don't want to use that word. Psychological battering, mental battering. I actually came through, like some pretty severe scenarios that I'm sorting out as to whether or not these realities were true or not. And, like if they are probabilities, I was able to go through these probabilities over and over and over again to get to where I'm at right now. And that's content with me. I've had to call myself off the ledge and, like slow it down with the, like the talking shit. That was like one of the earliest things. And I don't think it was Christy Whitman. I think it was another lady that I used to listen to who would do soul work. And, she took us through a guided meditation that helped us to release that energy that was in our space, that we had the compulsion to argue with. And I think it was Christy Whitman. And anyway, she, she realized, she would be fighting with her ex-husband. And he wasn't there. Matter of fact, he's like moved on and doing what he wants to do. And she's talking to her ex-husband, like when he's not there, arguing with him still. And when she decided to release his energy and call her own energy back, she set the intention that both of them will heal. And it worked. A lot of this psychological stuff that I went through. For one, I went against the grain on making some choices. And when it came to addiction, and it was a fucking slippery slope. Major slippery slope. But I was arrogant enough, because it was pure fucking arrogance and fiending arrogance to want to be that example that law of attraction works around addiction issues, because like I had obsessed about it so fucking much when I was in it, like surprisingly, like I didn't smoke crack. I mean, like I didn't turn out to become a crackhead, like, and I made some, like drug choices later where it felt like, shit was just so negative. It definitely was for relief, and there's a part of me that felt like I was not going to be able to come out of it. Anyway, the power of, at the least, believing in the shit that I do, and finding a way through, the ability to walk through applying the technique to myself and encouraging others to do the same. Every time I, like it started out being something so minute. And then, like I got exposed to some other information and some frustrations, like with a demographic that I'm really passionate about. And, like it still somewhat feels hopeless in the way that I want to approach it for those folks. I've had people yell at me, walk away. I've had people offer, money or whatever. And I'm, like trying to say, hey, I'm here too. Let's work together. And it didn't turn out that way. So I feel like that's just another call for me to like be like, okay, it's come to my attention several times to do me and take care of me first. The more I take care of myself, the less excuses I have to shit on you. And that's just how, it's just the way it is. And I, like I've always seen, like that subtle side of the coin. And I actually thought it would go away with drug abuse, but it actually exacerbated. And then on top of that, like some of the weird shit that kind of happens around social interactions, I want to say these days, but I'm starting to realize, like, I think this stuff has been going on for quite some time. I just didn't notice. Hi, you guys. Anyway, I'm just starting to realize that I can thank myself for taking care of me, because I'm getting to a space of, mental aptitude to have the ability to actually present this, starting from where I was at. Having the ability to put into practice all the way, the creativity, the love, the abundance. And I know that I have the power to have discernment from now on. Like a lot of, anyway, when I can articulate it better, I will describe it. But for now, moving forward, I've got employment because, like, where I'm at, like, I need some sort of independence that's going to help me get my own space so people stop exploiting me and the things that I do. because I've needed places to stay. I've had, when I started, that's the whole point in this conversation, when I started doing my energy work again on myself, you know, I have less desires to be attached to others, you know. I don't have that loneliness, that yearning, you know, like, because I called myself back. And a lot of times, you know, like your phones, you know, as well, you want to call your energy back from your phone, from anybody you interacted with, from anybody you interacted with on the internet. Ground it. And set the intention that you are going to be refreshed. And, you know, like for those who have been using, you know, like witchcraft, or, you know, like I've set intentions for a relationship, and, you know, like it kept getting interfered with, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when I realized it was working, it was kind of working, I quit. One, because it's not in the scope of my belief system, and it's not what they teach with the quantum. You know, you don't impose upon another free will, and that's pretty fucking ancient and well known across the board, you know. That's why we have all these, you know, ways people try to impose upon that. So, but I know for me in this lifetime, that is just, it's not for me. I know I have a partner out there that I have a magnetic attraction to, and I feel like I got a taste of that in my last few relationships. I got a taste of, you know, like seeing myself full Monty in relationships, you know, like, and, you know, like one of the head cracks that I came up with out of that is my, you know, like my self-esteem issues. It created more like rejection, you know, less patience with others, because I didn't have the confidence that I could work through or talk through something with a partner. You know, like never, I'm not gonna, I feel like there's enough people out there bashing their partners and blaming other people for their bullshit. And, you know, like for me, there was definitely some things that were not acceptable and not okay. That's why I'm not there. That's why I didn't utilize my power to, you know, like save the situation. I utilized my power to try to figure me out and assess the situation before I made another decision around that. So, yes, there are some regrets that I have. And then again, I think things, you know, decisions were made for my best interests, and I had to do that. And that was the lesson on how to do that for you. You know, because there's so many folks out there who are bitter and jealous and envious because they chose to try to prove to you or anybody else that they care or love you, you know, like with their time and energy. And, you know, like that's kind of another reason why I pulled back with what I was doing, because like I definitely want to present in a manner and how I would fucking present this to, you know, like my family, people that I love. And it's taken quite some time to, you know, like to assess, you know, like older traditions as to what is real and what actually can be modified. What do we need to keep, as not as, solid word, but as like a guiding system, like a guiding post, and I found most of the stuff that I've learned, even it coming, even it being parroted from, what do they call them? Snake oil or whatever the fuck, had some truth to it, So, and having to really look at myself, look at the videos that I was creating at that time, and look at myself now and be real with myself enough to know, there was some decisions that I held off making because I was afraid, confused, hurt, scared. There were times where I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking, let's go crack out, because I love getting high. I love that culture. I love those people. That's why I came up with what I came up with. That's why it happened in that moment, because I do have that genuine love. And it's not anything special. It's just the ability to see through how I'm supposed to think about people. And even though, the circumstances are the way they are, like, one of my biggest soapbox, like, I want to say rant, but I want to get better at saying it. It's like, until we as a collective, as a people, decide to guide people correctly, and there is a correct way to guide human beings, we didn't even give ourselves a chance. We're like turning fucking people into robots and cutting off our body parts. Like, come on now. And we think that shit's cute. It's not. It's not okay. And I happen to know, like, about exit points. And how people, like, as a soul, know what their exit point is. Like, that's why I know my exit point. That's why, like, a lot of times, like, the death stuff, it doesn't faze me. It was like being scared of ghosts and being scared of, being negligent to my family. And do it with that fear, it created more of it. And so, like, I'm just like, okay, well, the question always is, what can I do right now to feel, like, to be of use to the situation, And I know the answer that's for me is going to come to me. And I know I'm going to be able to take the action on it. I just know it. I think a lot of my hesitation with stuff, for sure, has to do with caring about those who made poor decisions, around the situation. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I know I need to prepare. I know I need to find, like, an actual way to enjoy really putting this stuff into practice and being fearless about it, but fun. you know. And it, you know, like it kind of is like an open, you know, like, anyway. I'm going to sit here and argue with myself about open source and how I'm not this and how I'm not that. But, like, I am fucking inspired. I'm so inspired. I'm 100 fucking percent inspired. I'm more inspired than jealous or envious. Am I having issues with the person that I know damn well I'm compatible with and have the ability to hold down a qualitative relationship with? Fuck yes. Yeah, I do have some envy or I mean, like, just that. You know, like, you don't want to fucking punch a bitch in the face, kick her in the pussy. But, you know, like, the thing is like, I learned through so much of this stuff. I was able to cognitively ask myself, would I want him fucking with my life if I was in love? Fuck no. It would suck. I'm just not one to get off on people making a fuss over me. You know? Now I'm starting to learn, like, oh. Better start liking it. Anyway. I was able to act accordingly with how I believed love was at that time. And that was, you know, like, to do my best not to interfere. You know, like, I still needed help. I was asking for help. But you know what? I'm getting through just fine right now. I'm actually probably would have never left my dwelling place for a long, 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 long time. If I, you know, like, you know, if I got a place right away. So I still have, you know, like, I want to say I still have a ways to go, but I don't. I just need to focus more on the financial end and, you know, like, being okay with having my needs met, you know, like, and getting more comfortable with the digital currency world, you know, like, because, like, that shit freaked me the fuck out. It did, you know, and intuitively, I know there was a lot of people who took advantage of that and took advantage of me, and I know there's no fucking reason why I should be on the street right now. So, however, I was not in toxic positivity, but made the best of what was going on, and I get to paint shit gold. Because I learned that certain, you know, applications mentally are doable, and shifting your reality is fucking real. Having the ability to do that is 100 fucking percent real. And if you imagine a whole shelter of people working together and knowing how to do that and raise their own money and get themselves off the ground. Anyway, have a good night.